Deep within the temperature-controlled vaults of the Smithsonian or the restricted archives of the Vatican, there are fragments of history that were never meant to survive the shredder. This isn't just lost history, it's a suppressed code. For generations, scholars at Ivy League divinity schools have whispered about a specific passage in the Gospel of Philip. It details a moment that doesn't fit the Sunday school narrative. It describes a clandestine meeting in a sealed upper room where the teacher stood before his inner circle. He didn't offer them a sermon. He didn't ask them to have faith. He gave them a sound. This wasn't the name Jesus, a name filtered through Greek, Latin, and English translations until it became a safe household brand. The text claims he spoke his true name, and when he uttered these syllables, the physics of the room shifted. The disciples felt a resonant vibration rattle their bones. Beyond the limestone walls, in dimensions the human eye filters out, the Archons, the unseen architects of our reality, recoiled in terror. This wasn't a prayer, it was a frequency jammer. It was a sound so pure that the rulers of this simulated reality couldn't process it. The institutional church found this passage centuries ago. They didn't just hide it, they buried it under layers of dogma. Why? Because it was too dangerous for the public to know. If you understood the acoustic power contained in those specific syllables, the entire hierarchy of organized religion would collapse. You wouldn't need a priest, a pastor, or a permit to access the divine. You would realize that the God you've been begging for help is actually waiting for you to issue a command. Tonight, we aren't just looking at history, we are looking at an activation key. Look at your life right now, the 40-hour grind, the debt, the anxiety that hums in the background like a refrigerator you can't unplug. What if I told you this exhaustion isn't a bug in the system, but a feature designed to harvest you? To understand why this name is a weapon, you have to understand the battlefield. The Gnostic texts describe a hierarchy of reality that sounds less like the Bible and more like the Matrix. At the very top exists the monad, the true source, infinite consciousness, the pure signal. But we aren't connected to that directly. We are trapped in a construct built by the demiurge, a lesser creator who mistakes himself for God. This demiurge didn't create your soul. He created the cubicle it's trapped in. He appointed the Archons, think of them as the cosmic middle management, to guard the perimeter. Their job is to keep you forgetting who you are. The Archons feed on low-frequency energy, fear, political division, shame, and the feeling of not being enough. Consider how mainstream religion is designed in the West. You are taught to kneel. You are taught to call yourself a sinner. You are taught to beg a distant king for crumbs of mercy. This posture isn't accidental. It's an engineering schematic. When you project feelings of unworthiness, you are generating a specific frequency that sustains the Archons. You are feeding the very system that enslaves you. But there is a ghost frequency they cannot touch. It operates on a bandwidth above their perception. This is the frequency of the monad. Certain sounds, when spoken with intent, cut through the static of this material world like a laser. The moment you stop begging and start vibrating at the level of the source, you become invisible to the predators. History is written by the winners, but the truth is usually buried by them. In 1945, the Earth decided it was time to speak, and what it said proved that the Council of Nicaea had been lying for 1600 years. The narrative we've been sold is that the 4 Gospels in the hotel nightstand are the only story. That is a fabrication. In the 4th century, when Emperor Constantine needed to unify the Roman Empire, he turned Christianity into a corporate structure. He gathered the bishops at Nicaea and decided which texts were canon and which were illegal. The Gnostic texts, which taught self-empowerment over blind obedience, were condemned. The mystics were hunted down. Their libraries were burned. For nearly 2 millennia, the West went dark, but in 1945, near Nag Hammadi, Egypt, a farmer digging for nitrate fertilizer hit a sealed jar. Inside weren't gold coins, but something far more valuable: 52 leather-bound texts. These were the backup drives of the ancient world, buried by Gnostics who knew the censorship was coming. Carbon dating proved they were authentic. The Church tried to say these teachings never existed, but the ground itself testified against them. Among these texts was the Gospel of Philip and the Pistis Sophia. They contained the secret teaching of the true name, the sonic key that connects you directly to the monad, bypassing the archonic firewall. But here is the catch that most academics miss. You can't just read the name in a PDF. You can't stick it on a bumper sticker. It's not a magic spell. It's a recognition code. It only works if the person speaking it is online, connected to their own divine spark. Jesus didn't teach this to the crowds who wanted free bread. He saved it for the inner circle, those who had proven they were ready to unplug from the simulation.
If you are still watching this, it's not because of the YouTube algorithm. It's because your internal operating system is scanning for a signal that you've felt missing your entire life. The Gnostics categorized humanity into 3 distinct types, a concept that explains why you feel so alienated in modern society. First, there are the Hylics. These are people entirely consumed by the physical world, status, money, biological drives. They are NPCs in the simulation. They cannot hear the monad because they have no receiver. Second are the psychics, the soulful. They have a flickering spark. They fill the megachurches and buy the self-help books. They sense something is out there, but they look for it externally. They want a savior to do the work for them. Then there are the pneumatics. This is the chosen demographic. If you have always felt like a stranger on this planet, if religious dogma felt suffocating, if you intuitively know that reality is a construct, you are pneumatic. You carry a concentrated shard of the monad's light in your chest. This video is a filter. The Hylics scrolled past it minutes ago. The psychics got offended and left. You are still here. That means you are ready for the upgrade. The name I am about to give you acts as a password. When a pneumatic speaks it, it's not a request, it's an override command. The Archons understand the physics of vibration. They know that if enough pneumatics remember this frequency, the fear grid they've built around the Earth begins to dissolve. You aren't just learning a word, you are retrieving a weapon. This is the moment the gatekeepers feared. We are going to bypass 1700 years of theology and go straight to the source code. The name that made the rulers of this reality tremble is not English, it's not Latin, it is a compound frequency built from two ancient roots. The first component is Eyeh. This is the Hebrew sound of pure existence. It's what the burning bush whispered to Moses. I am that I am. But in our context, it is not a title for a god. It is a statement of your own eternal presence. It is the I that existed before you had a body, before you had a name, before you had an American Social Security number. The second component is Phos. This is the primordial Greek word for light, but this isn't the light of a light bulb or the sun. That is physical, degrading light. This refers to the noetic light, the light of pure consciousness that existed before the Big Bang. When you fuse them, you get the frequency, Eyeh, Phos. Translation, I am light. It sounds simple, but do not be deceived. Simple codes open complex locks. When you speak Eyeh Phos with the full weight of your pneumatic soul, you are telling the universe, I recognize what I am. I am not a servant of the demiurge. I am a fractal of the source. The Archons cannot process this statement. They were created within the dark material box. You are from outside the box. Speaking this name reminds them that they are merely the jailers, but you are the free-born heir. Knowledge without action is just trivia. Tonight you stop being a student of history and start being an operator of reality. You are going to test this, not tomorrow, tonight. Before you sleep, find a quiet space, your bedroom, your car, wherever you can be alone. Sit with your spine straight, like an antenna. Place your hand over the center of your chest. This is your heart center, the seat of your pneumatic spark. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. With every exhale, visualize the programming leaving your body, the guilt, the fear, the religious trauma, the feeling of being small. That is not yours. Now with authority, not hope, authority, speak the name, Eyeh, Phos. Feel the vibrations start in your chest and radiate outward. You are not asking the monad for attention. You are pinging the server. You are declaring your status. Say it again, Eyeh, Phos. You might feel heat rising in your spine. You might feel a sudden emotional release or tears. You might feel the room get very quiet. This is the recognition. In the days following this, watch how your reality shifts. The things that used to trigger your anxiety will slide off you. You will spot the archonic distractions, the fear-mongering news, the petty conflicts, and they won't be able to hook you. If you are ready to claim this, go to the comments right now and write Eyeh, Phos. Don't just type it, declare it. Let the algorithm know. Let the other pneumatics know we are awakening. The system relies on your silence. Break it. You are the light. You have always been the light. Now turn it on.